Welcome back to Culture Bite. I'm Kevin G, and I'm going to break down the new trailer for the Fallout TV show with a new release date of April 11th on Amazon Prime. All episodes are dropping at once, so that's actually pretty exciting. I'm going to point out some Easter eggs I found and theories on the show, but beware, spoilers ahead for the Fallout games.
Hello there. I'm here to show you a wonderful place. A veritable Camelot, the nuclear age. Not made by God Almighty, but the working man.
We begin the trailer with Cooper Howard. This is Walt Goggins' character, the Ghoul, but before he goes through ghoulification, we see him in a dark-lit room as a spotlight shines on him. He says, "Hello there, I'm here to show you a wonderful place." As the room lights up, we see a giant vault door with the number 4 on it. It seems like Howard is a spokesperson or hired actor for Vault-Tec, and Vault 4 could be a vault used for advertisement purposes like we see in Fallout 3, History Museum, or Fallout 4, Nuka World. Next shot, we see a projected background of a farm. As the camera backs, we see the telesonic magic of 3D that is projecting this image. We can assume that this is actually taking place in the vault, but we hear Walt Goggins' character continue to say a veritable Camelot of the nuclear age, not made by God Almighty, but the working man. In the next shot, we see a Vault Boy bobblehead, and I think this is actually the pregnant lady we see later in the trailer, but she makes it bobble. Then we also see a quick shot of Vault 33's residential hallway. The reason I say that is because we see a mailbox, some lounge chairs, and even some green patches. Then we see Kyle MacLachlan, who plays Lucy's dad and the overseer of Vault 33. Overseers are the ones selected to lead the vault and with the responsibility of said vault experiment. But it seems like they are setting up some sort of gathering, maybe even a wedding. But this is going with the scene earlier with the projected farm background. I'm thinking that maybe this is Lucy who he's waving to, or could this be some sort of flashback and he's waving to Lucy's mom?
You can be a hero by purchasing a residence in a Vault-Tec vault today. Because if the worst should happen tomorrow, the world is going to need you to build a better day after.
Then we hear you could be a hero by purchasing a residence in a Vault-Tec vault today, and the world's going to need you to build a better day after. As we see Walt Goggins' character arrive up the elevator and walk towards the camera as the TV stops and says, "Please stand by." The next shot is of the Santa Monica Pier from the last trailer, but this time you can see the entrance to Vault 33. Possibly this could be where Lucy first exits from and into the wasteland.
The mission of the vaults should be important to everyone.
The next shot is a big one as we see Maximus and Lucy standing on the edge of this crater. We know this is them because a shot later in the trailer, but we see Shady Sands Public Library. This is a deep call out to Fallout 1 as this is one of the first towns you encounter, and this is also the headquarters of the New California Republic, or NCR for short. We know that they will show up later in the trailer, but now the question is, why are the NCR and Brotherhood at war again, or I guess never stopped? As in Fallout New Vegas, you had the option to kill all the Brotherhood or have a peace treaty signed by the two, but this could only be possible if you have a high enough speech skill in the game. We do know from an interview between Total Film and the producer Jonathan Nolan that he said in a statement, each one of the Fallout games is at a street story, different city, distinct protagonists within the same mythology. Our series sits in relation to the games as the game sits to relation to each other. It's almost like we're Fallout 5. I don't want to sound presumptuous, but it's just a non-interactive version of it, right? This is awesome because we do know that this takes place 15 years from Fallout New Vegas and 4 from Fallout 4. So this could fill some holes after the end of those games. But could the Brotherhood have nuked NCR and started an all-out war? We do also know that in Fallout 4, Elder Arthur Maxson, descendant of Roger Maxson, the founder of the Brotherhood of Steel, had support from the Elders of the West Coast, which is actually where the Brotherhood had started as well. So could he have been the one that initiated the war? We see the vault door opening as Lucy is waiting. Lucy is played by Ella Purnell. but we can see she has a Vault-Tec backpack with the number 33 on it for the vault and some purified water. She says the mission of the vault should be important to everyone. As the vault door opens, the sun beams in and we see a body on the floor and Lucy's brother Norm, who is played by Mosa Saris. But he's looking at his sister as Lucy is waving. We see she's outside of the vault and has a cut on her lip, and I think this all takes place in front of the vault from the Santa Monica Pier.
To come up to the surface one day and restart civilization. Can you tell me what's happened in the last 200 years?
Holy shit. You're an actual vault dweller.
I am.
We see a ship taken over by the sand as Lucy continues to say to come up to the surface one day and restart civilization. Then we see a stim pack. This is something the player would use to heal themselves up or repair a crippled arm. We even see a Vault-Tec bobblehead. Seems like Lucy might actually run into one of these. But yes, the vaults were meant to keep people safe until the radiation level on the surface was enough to come up and restart society. But Vault-Tec had other plans. A good portion of these vaults were learned through some of the games and lore that these vaults were meant for experiments on the residents. Maybe only actually a few opened up and let people out, but sometimes they would run into raiders or they would run into raiders breaking into the vaults. But Lucy says, can you tell me what happened in the last 200 years? As we see Dale Dickey playing Ma June, she seems like some type of traitor. Still, she says, holy bleep, you're an actual vault dweller? As Lucy smiles and says, I am.
I thought all you dipshits were dead.
What you're doing is insane.
I don't set the world.
It isn't like the vault out there. It's big.
Then Maju laughs at her face, and now being able to see her whole shop more, we can see that she sells weapons. We see a plasma rifle and a bolt rifle, maybe a repeater, all from past Fallout games. Then Lucy looks confused as Maju says, I thought all you dipshits were dead. And you could see how a look of worry on Lucy's face. Then we hear, I don't want to set the world on fire, but the ink spots. And I don't know about you guys, but this just brought me back to 2008 when I first saw the Fallout 3 trailer. This song is just perfect and this describes the world of Fallout. Then we see a shot of Lucy walking past an overgrown parking lot, maybe as we see green trees and life all around, which makes sense. It has been 200 plus years. We have seen trees in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 as well, but we hear what you're doing is insane as we see Lucy examining the world she walked into. Then we see David register. I believe he is playing chat as he tells Lucy it isn't like the vault out there, it's big. I think that maybe this is who Lucy either kills or knocks out right before she leaves the vault from earlier in the trailer.
I've had a rough week. And practically every person I've met up here has tried to kill me.
I'm simply going to harvest your organs.
Then we see Lucy overlooking the dune of Los Angeles. Then we see Lucy walking towards Hollywood Boulevard as it looks completely underwater. Then it looks like Lucy may have been taking a minute to heal herself because we can see she has a wound here. And this is when she meets Walt Goggins' character, the Ghoul, as he points a gun at her. We see Lucy saying, I've had a rough week, as we see she picks up a Vault-Tec plant, something, as it also says, econ saving passy, then the words are actually like cut off, but we can see it says caution and it has a skull symbol, so it's harmful to humans. She goes on to say practically every person I've met here has tried to kill me. We see her in some type of kiddie playground as she is escorted by a Mr. Codsworth, who is voiced by Matt Berry from What We Do in the Shadows and voiced the robot from the Book of Boba Fett. But Mr. Codsworth says, I'm simply going to harvest your organs, as he shoots Lucy with some sort of dart that knocks her out. But you can tell this girl has been through it. You can see how she has unzipped her vault suit and she has some bloody hands. She's potentially even bleeding. She's probably injured and came to this robot for help, and well, it didn't turn out so well.
You need to go home. You come from a world of rules, of laws. You should not be alone.
Why did you join the Brotherhood? to hurt the people who hurt me.
Then we see Wilzig say, "You need to go home. You come from a world of rules, of laws. You should not be alone." As he's saying that, we see Lucy and Maria del Mar Gomez playing Pregnant Lady. Yes, that's her actual name. That's actually her role, but they are working on the vault. Lucy's giving me Rosie River vibes with her stance. Then we see Norm hugging his sister, but this is before she opens the vault. Then the next shot we get is of the Brotherhood of Steel as we see Maximus played by Aaron Moulton. Then we see the Cosmonaut, which is the sister ship to the Prudwin, and we hear a voice ask, "Why did you join the Brotherhood?" As we see a Brotherhood soldier stand heroically in front of a young Maximus, as Maximus says, "To hurt the people who hurt me," as we see he's inside of a vertebrate.
People are going to come after you.
Ain't much stage cleanup here, Volty. Well, now that is a very small drop in a very, very large bucket of drugs.
In the next shot, we see Maximus in Brotherhood Knight armor as the face mask lowers down. Seems like he's ranked up from being a scribe to a Brotherhood Knight, as they're the only ones that can actually wear the power armor. Then we see the Ghoul with CX-404 walking towards, I'm thinking, Los Angeles, and you see one of those classic diners you would see in the game. But this tells us they work together. We did see some character posters with them together. We hear Wilzig say, "People are going to come after you," as we see the Ghoul playing with a small jar of liquid in his hand. Then we hear the Ghoul say, "Ain't much stays clean up here, Volty," as we see Lucy is talking to Wilzig and Ma June. But also, he's not wrong, because if you look at Lucy from the beginning of the trailer to the end of this one, you can see that the world outside the vault changes you. But the Ghoul is shooting some raiders, but in the next shot, we can see Wilzig's on the floor, Ma June looking for cover, and Lucy pointing a gun at the Ghoul. We even see CX-404 on the floor with some blood, and I swear nothing better happened to this dog throughout this whole short, or I will lose it. Then in the next shot, we see a small sign with a laser rifle that says, "You steal, we shoot," and we see one that says, "We trade in caps only," but we can see Wilzig lying on the floor because his freaking foot was actually blown off. Now, could the Ghoul have done this, or was it one of those raiders? But Lucy shoots the Ghoul with a dart, and as he says, "Well, now that is a very small drop in a very, very large bucket of drugs." So I'm thinking of two things here. One thing is that this is a drug that Lucy shot at him, and this is ineffective as he might be addicted. Or this could be radiation since she shot at him, and since he's a Ghoul, radiation's basically nothing to him.
Look out at this wasteland. Looks like chaos, but there's always somebody behind the wheel.
Next shot we see of the LA Observatory as we see a group of vertebrates approaching. I think that this is when the fight between the Brotherhood and NCR occur that we see later in the video. Then we see Codsworth getting ready to slice Lucy up with a buzzsaw. Man, he really wants those organs. Then we see the Overseer back in the vault gathering as the projector changes the farm landscape to a "Please stand by." Then we see the Overseer running away as we see everyone is dead at this event. Then we see possibly a bride chasing after the Overseer. She does have a Pip-Boy and a holster, but this brings me back to the first trailer when we saw the bloody jukebox, which is in this scene. So I wonder if the vault experiment had started, or maybe this is the ritual of the vault. Then we hear the Ghoul say, "You look out at this wasteland, it looks like chaos." As he's saying this, we see a group of soldiers leaving the observatory, and we can see their leader possibly being played by, and I'm sorry if I butcher her name, Sarita Cholhori. Sorry. We see the NCR flag being held up as we see them battling the Brotherhood of Steel. But why? I'm assuming that maybe the Brotherhood has gotten a lot stronger since we last saw them in Fallout 4, especially with the airships. They have air dominance now. But the Ghoul goes on to say, "But there's always somebody behind the wheel." As we can see, the Ghoul is watching an old Western film on a Radiation King, which was the brand of televisions in the Fallout universe. But he's actually watching old films of himself, Cooper Howard. And in that film, he's actually wearing the same clothing he wears wears when the bombs drop, and he's actually still wearing those clothes to this day. Then we see the sonic blast from the bombs dropping. Then we see the ghoul before ghoulification with, I'm assuming, his daughter running towards somewhere. You could see the blast just hit, so people are trying to run away. Then we see a Brotherhood Knight fighting Yog White Bear. I'm assuming this is Maximus. Then we see another knight stomping towards the ghoul as he's firing on him. I'm thinking this is also Maximus, and this is how they all meet up. Then we see the beast with the finger mouth jumping out towards the knight. Yeah, just a monster. We can see that in the next shot that Lucy and CX44 are together and that Lucy's wet, so maybe this is when the monster comes out and attacks the knight. Then we see Johnny Pemberton. He's playing Thaddeus and he screams, maybe because something attacks him, but it's honestly just hilarious. I'm assuming he's playing a pilot of a vertibird, or just by the way he's dressed, honestly. Then we see Chet and Norm together in the vault, and we can see one guy is bandaged up, so maybe this could be after what happened during the event with the overseer. But Chet asks, what is happening? Then we see Wilzig enter a needle in his head. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy does crazy experiments or is a crazy doctor or something.
Everyone wants to save the world, they disagree on how.
There you are, you little killer.
Then we see Lucy and the ghoul approach a Super Duper Mart, which is a grocery store in the Fallout universe, and you can't have Fallout without a Super Duper Mart. But you can see that Lucy is missing a boot here, like she's really going through it. Then we see the ghoul is pouring some liquid into his mouth, seems like one of Lucy's darts, and you can tell he likes it as he lets out woohoo. So like I said, it could be a drug or radiation. Then we see an explosion in front of Vertibird. Then Maximus is inside of an building, but it's kind of odd because this building looks up to date and looks kind of clean. It looks like some sort of secret facility. Then we see Maximus and Lucy walking together. He's wearing what the knights wear under their armor in the game, and you can see he's holding a laser pistol, or maybe it's actually a pipe gun. And we can also see that Lucy has upgraded her vault suit and added more armor to it. Sort of reminds me of the armored vault suit from Fallout 3 and how you can upgrade your vault suit in Fallout 4. But Maximus says everyone wants to save the world, they just disagree on how. And as he said that, we can see that Lucy and Maximus are approaching a big crater. This could be where a nuclear bomb was dropped, but we see through some quick shots Lucy stomping on a rad roach and Maximus power armor, I'm assuming beside her. A rad roach crawls over the face mask of the power armor. Maximus, I'm assuming, stomping his way through the vault hallways, and he has 3 slashes on the chest piece. That could be from the Yog White Bear that he faces earlier, maybe. Then we see Anna O'Hannigan playing Steph. She has an eye patch in this shot, but I think she's actually the lady that was firing the machine gun in the first trailer with the fork in her eye. Also, I think she's actually talking to Norm in this shot. Next, we see a shot of Maximus and Lucy together again at this crater, and this is the shot from earlier as we see the sign for Shady Sands. Next, we see blood splat over Chet as the screen behind him is showing explosions. We see someone in the vault pushing a cake that says congrats. Then we see the same shot of CX404 getting shot at by the turn from the first trailer. Then we see Lucy and Maximus shaking hands, maybe meeting each other for the first time, making a deal. Then we see Cooper Howard, Walt Goggins kissing someone that I'm assuming is his wife. Then we see the last shot we get. We hear the ghoul say, "There you are, you little killer," as we see Lucy leaving a room with blood on her shirt and face. She has a bandage on her arm as we hear "Flame in your heart" as we get the Fallout logo. This trailer was just phenomenal. This just looks like Fallout, and the fact that this is just basically another installment into the series and just adds lore to the universe. Like, Lucy's taking the role of the player and is leaving the vault for the first time and experiencing a new wasteland. Maybe her decision decisions will impact how the series will turn out. Like, will the NCR and Brotherhood have a truce? Will it tell us the events after Fallout New Vegas, like how the NCR came into hard times? One of the biggest questions I have is, where are the super mutants? But I hope you all enjoyed the video and the trailer. Leave a comment on what you thought about the trailer and on anything you found that I missed. Follow me on Instagram at the Kev Guy and follow Culture Byte and subscribe to Culture Byte. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.